Men, suspecting your partner is cheating is one of the most psychologically devastating experiences you can face in a relationship. The uncertainty eats at you. Before we start, hit subscribe and hype button, drop a like and a comment. Step 1. Document everything but say nothing. The moment you suspect cheating, your first instinct is probably to confront her immediately and demand answers. This is the worst possible move. The first step is to document every suspicious behavior, every inconsistency, every red flag you notice, while saying absolutely nothing to her about your suspicions. You're gathering evidence and observing patterns before revealing that you're aware anything is wrong. Why this step is critical? This step is critical because the moment you confront without evidence, everything changes. If she's cheating, she'll deny it, become more careful about covering tracks, and you'll have tipped your hand while learning nothing. If she's not cheating, you've damaged trust by making accusations you can't support. Documentation gives you clarity about whether patterns actually exist or if you're reacting to isolated incidents that don't indicate cheating. Start keeping detailed notes of suspicious behaviors with dates and times. If she's suddenly working late frequently, note which days and what reasons she gives. If she's more protective of her phone, document when you first noticed and specific examples of the behavior. If her appearance or grooming has changed, note what changed and when. If she's less interested in intimacy, track frequency changes. Write everything down because memory is unreliable, and you need objective record of patterns. Pay attention to changes in routine, behavior, and communication. Cheating creates behavioral changes because she's managing two relationships. She might need more privacy than before. She might have unexplained time periods where she's unreachable. She might be happier or guiltier than usual. She might pick fights to justify distance. She might suddenly care more about appearance. Each change is a data point. Document them all without interpretation yet. Notice inconsistencies in stories she tells. If she says she's going one place, but details don't add up when she returns, write down the inconsistency. If she mentions being with certain people, but those people's social media shows something different, document it. If timelines don't make sense or stories change in retelling, note the discrepancies. Cheaters struggle to keep lies consistent. Innocent people's stories stay consistent because they're recounting reality. Watch how she responds to routine questions without revealing you're watching carefully. If you casually ask about her day and she becomes defensive, evasive, or overly detailed in ways that feel like she's constructing alibi, note her response. If simple questions create unusual reactions, something is making her anxious about disclosure. Document these reactions without letting her know you found them suspicious. During this documentation phase, act completely normal. Don't change your behavior. Don't become cold or distant. Don't start interrogating her. Don't check her phone, obviously, or follow her. The goal is for her to believe everything is fine while you're actually gathering information about whether patterns exist. If she knows you suspect something, the documentary evidence you're gathering becomes contaminated because she'll adjust behavior. Give yourself a reasonable documentation period before moving to the next step. A week or two of careful observation usually reveals whether genuine patterns exist or if you're overreacting to normal life variations. If you document for 2 weeks and find multiple consistent red flags across different areas, you likely have real problem. If you document and realize the suspicious behaviors were isolated incidents you blew out of proportion, you've saved yourself from damaging accusations. What this step accomplishes? This step accomplishes several critical things. It gives you objective data instead of emotion-driven suspicions. It reveals whether patterns actually exist or if you're catastrophizing normal behaviors. It preserves evidence that might disappear if she knows you're suspicious. It keeps you in control of the situation by preventing premature confrontation. And it protects you legally and practically by creating record of concerning behaviors with dates and specifics. Step 2. Verify your suspicions through indirect methods. Once you've documented patterns that genuinely concern you, step 2 is verifying whether your suspicions have basis in reality before confronting. This means using indirect methods to gather information that either confirms or disproves your concerns without directly accusing her or obviously invading privacy. You're looking for verification through observable evidence, not through interrogation or obvious snooping. Why this step is critical? This step is critical because suspicions alone aren't enough to make life-changing decisions. You need verification that moves you from "I think something might be wrong" to "I have concrete reason to believe something is wrong," or "I've verified nothing is actually wrong." Verification prevents you from destroying a faithful relationship based on paranoia, and it prevents you from confronting a cheating partner without leverage. Check publicly available information first. Look at her social media posts, tagged photos, and check-ins. See if her stated whereabouts match what appears online. Check mutual friends' social media to verify if she was where she claimed with who she claimed. If she says she was at her friend Sarah's house but Sarah's Instagram shows Sarah was somewhere else, you've found inconsistency. Public information can verify or contradict stories without any privacy invasion. Pay attention to changes in financial patterns if you have access to shared accounts. Unexplained charges at restaurants, hotels, or stores in areas she had no stated reason to visit are red flags. Unusual cash withdrawals might indicate she's paying for things she doesn't want transaction records of. Subscriptions to dating apps or websites you didn't know about are obvious confirms. Financial evidence often reveals what words conceal. Use technology ethically to verify location claims. If she says she's working late, drive by her workplace to verify her car is there. If she says she's at the gym, check if gym check-in shows on shared fitness apps. If she claims to be one place, but her tagged location on social platforms shows somewhere else, you've caught inconsistency. These verifications don't require invading devices or privacy. You're just checking publicly visible information or observing public spaces. Ask trusted mutual friends casual questions that might reveal information. Don't reveal your suspicions, but you can mention casually that you thought she was with so-and-so on a specific night and see if friend confirms or corrects. If friend says, "No, I haven't seen her in weeks," when she claimed to be with that friend, you've verified she lied about her whereabouts. Use discretion because you don't want suspicions spreading before you have answers. Notice if she's creating opportunities for affairs, if she's suddenly taking business trips she never took before, working late without any corresponding career advancement or workplace changes, or joining new activities without inviting you or encouraging your involvement. She's creating time and space for someone else. If new behaviors specifically create unsupervised time, that's verification that something beyond normal life changes is happening. Pay attention to how she talks about specific people. If there's one person she mentions frequently, but gets defensive when you ask about them, that person warrants attention. If she suddenly stops mentioning someone she used to talk about regularly, they might have become secretive connection. If she's overly interested in one person's life, relationship status, or activities, emotional affair might be developing even if physical one hasn't started yet. During verification phase, continue acting normal while being strategically observant. You're not trying to catch her in specific act. You're trying to verify whether the patterns you documented are explained by normal life circumstances or by hidden relationship. If verifications keep revealing inconsistencies, you're moving toward confirmation. If verifications consistently support her stated activities, your suspicions might be unfounded. What this step accomplishes? This step accomplishes verification that moves you from suspicion to knowledge. You either confirm that genuine deception is occurring, giving you basis for confrontation, or you disprove your concerns, allowing you to address any relationship issues that cause suspicion without making false accusations. Either way, you're now operating from evidence rather than speculation. Step 3. Prepare yourself emotionally and practically for either outcome. Once you have documentation and verification suggesting something is wrong, step 3 is preparing yourself for confrontation and its aftermath before you actually confront. This means getting your emotions under control, deciding what outcomes you can accept, securing your practical situation, and having plan for both scenario where she admits cheating and scenario where she denies it. Why? This step is critical. This step is critical because confrontation without preparation leads to reactive decisions you'll regret. Most men confront while emotionally overwhelmed, hear denial or confession that further destabilizes them, and then make decisions from worst possible mental state. Preparation ensures you maintain control of situation and make decisions based on your actual values and needs rather than emotional impulse in the moment. Get your emotions under control before confronting. This doesn't mean suppressing feelings, it means processing them privately so you can confront from a position of strength rather than emotional chaos. Talk to trusted friend or therapist about what you're experiencing. Write out your feelings. Exercise to burn off anxiety. Do whatever you need to reach a point where you can discuss suspicions without breaking down, yelling, or losing composure. Emotional control gives you power in confrontation. Decide in advance what outcomes you can accept. If she's cheating, can you work through it, or is cheating absolute deal breaker? If she admits to emotional affair but denies physical one, is that acceptable or not? If she's been talking to exes inappropriately, can you move past that? Know your boundaries before confrontation so you're not making major life decisions in heat of emotional moment. Deciding your deal breakers in advance prevents you from accepting unacceptable situations because you're overwhelmed. Prepare for the practical realities of potential breakup. This doesn't mean you've decided to break up. It means you're ready if that's where this goes. If you live together, know what moving out would require. If you're married, consult with divorce attorney about your rights and options without filing anything yet. If you have shared finances, understand how to protect your money if needed. If you have children, consider what custody arrangements might look like. Practical preparation isn't giving up, it's protecting yourself. Secure evidence you've gathered. Make copies of documentation you've created. Screenshot concerning social media posts or messages if you have legitimate access to them. Save financial records showing suspicious charges. Put everything in secure location she can't access and delete. If confrontation leads to denial, followed by her destroying evidence, you'll still have what you gathered. Never confront without securing evidence first. Plan the confrontation conversation. Decide when and where you'll do it. Choose private location where you can't be interrupted. Pick time when neither of you is rushed or distracted. Think through what you're going to say and how you'll present concerns. Plan questions you need answered. Anticipate how she might respond and how you'll handle different responses. Walking into confrontation with plan prevents you from being derailed by her reactions. Prepare for gaslighting and denial. If she's cheating, she'll likely deny it initially, even if you have strong evidence. She might claim you're paranoid, insecure, or crazy. She might turn accusations back on you. She might cry and play victim. She might admit to minor transgression while hiding bigger one. Knowing these tactics are coming prevents you from being manipulated by them. Stay focused on evidence and don't let her make this about your supposed insecurity. Line up support for aftermath. Tell trusted friend or family member that you're confronting concerns so they can be available afterward. You'll need someone to talk to regardless of outcome. If she's cheating and you're ending relationship, you'll need support through that pain. If she's not cheating but relationship has issues, you'll need to process that. If she's cheating, but you're trying to work through it, you'll need support for that journey. Don't go through aftermath alone. What this step accomplishes emotional and practical readiness for confrontation and its consequences. You're no longer vulnerable to making reactive decisions because you've already decided your boundaries. You're protected practically because you've secured evidence and prepared for worst-case scenarios. You're ready emotionally because you've processed feelings and lined up support. You're going into confrontation from a position of strength rather than desperation. Step 4. Confront directly with specific evidence, not vague accusations. After documentation, verification, and preparation, step 4 is the confrontation itself. This doesn't mean screaming accusations or interrogating. This means calmly presenting specific evidence of concerning behaviors and requiring honest explanation. You're not asking if she's cheating yet. You're presenting undeniable inconsistencies and requiring her to explain them. How she responds tells you everything. Why this step is critical? This step is critical because confrontation is where you get truth or final confirmation of deception. The way you confront determines whether you get honest answers or manipulation. Vague accusations let her deny easily. Specific evidence forces her to explain documented behaviors she can't claim didn't happen. Your composure during confrontation maintains your power and makes it harder for her to make this about your supposed jealousy rather than her actual behavior. Start with one undeniable specific inconsistency, not general accusation. Don't say, "I think you're cheating." Say, "On Tuesday you said you were working late, but your car wasn't at your office when I drove past at 7 p.m. And your co-worker Sarah posted a photo from the office happy hour that you weren't in. Where were you?" Specific evidence with dates and details can't be easily dismissed. Starting with one concrete example establishes that you have actual information, not just paranoia. Watch her immediate reaction carefully. If she's innocent, her reaction will be confusion or concern that you doubted her, followed by immediate straightforward explanation. If she's guilty, her immediate reaction will likely be defensiveness, anger that you checked on her, deflection to your behavior, or buying time with vague responses. Guilty people attack the fact that you verified rather than simply explaining the inconsistency. Innocent people just explain. Present additional evidence systematically, not all at once. After you raise first inconsistency, see how she handles it. If she provides explanation, present another piece of evidence that contradicts that explanation. Build the case piece by piece so she can't create one big lie that covers everything. Each piece of evidence you present shows you've been paying attention and you have more than she might think. This approach reveals whether she's being honest or continuing to deceive. Ask direct specific questions requiring concrete answers. Who were you with on Tuesday night? Requires naming a person. What restaurant did you have the business dinner at? Requires naming a place you can verify. What time did you leave the gym? Requires specific time you can check against other evidence. Vague questions allow vague answers. Specific questions require specific answers you can verify or that reveal evasion. Don't accept vague answers or deflections. If she says, "I was just out," without elaborating, that's not answer. If she says, "Why are you interrogating me?" instead of answering, she's deflecting. If she says, "I don't remember exactly," about recent events she should remember, she's being evasive. Calmly insist on direct answers to direct questions. Each evasion is itself evidence because innocent people with nothing to hide just answer questions. Pay attention to whether she's explaining or performing. Honest explanations are straightforward. Deceptive performances involve excessive details, emotional manipulation like crying or anger, shifting blame to you, or creating distractions from your questions. If she's trying to make you feel guilty for asking, Rather than simply answering, she's manipulating. If she's more focused on your supposed lack of trust than on addressing legitimate concerns, she's avoiding truth. Stay calm regardless of her emotional tactics. If she cries, let her cry, but don't abandon your questions. If she gets angry, stay calm and insist answers are reasonable to expect. If she threatens to leave, let her know that leaving without explaining is itself an answer. Your composure throughout confrontation demonstrates you're serious and not being manipulated. Emotional stability gives you control and makes manipulation harder. What this step accomplishes? This step accomplishes the truth extraction. Either she provides honest explanations that address your concerns and you can work on rebuilding trust, or her responses confirm deception through evasion, inconsistency, and manipulation. You're no longer in suspicion phase. You're now in knowing phase. Even if she doesn't confess directly, her handling of confrontation gives you the information you need to make decisions. Step 5. Trust your gut and make a decision. Based on evidence, not her tears. After confrontation, step 5 is making decision about the relationship based on evidence and your boundaries, not based on her emotional manipulation or promises to change. If confrontation confirmed cheating through admission or through responses that revealed guilt, you must decide whether to stay and work through it or leave. If confrontation didn't confirm cheating but revealed other serious issues, you must decide how to address them. Either way, this is decision point. Why? This step is critical. This step is critical because this is where most men fail. They have evidence, they've confronted, they've seen behavior that confirms deception, but then her tears, promises, and pleading convince them to ignore everything they know. Making decisions based on manipulation rather than evidence keeps you in relationship that's damaged beyond repair or with partner who hasn't genuinely changed. This step requires holding to boundaries you decided in advance. If she admitted to cheating, decide if this is something you can actually work through. Many men say they can forgive but actually can't, leading to years of resentment. Be honest with yourself. Can you genuinely move past this, or will you hold it over her forever? Can you rebuild trust, or will you always be suspicious? Is she showing genuine remorse and willingness to do the work to rebuild, or is she just sorry she got caught? If you can't actually forgive and rebuild trust, staying is choosing ongoing misery. If she denied cheating, but evidence suggests she's lying, believe evidence over her words. This is hard because you want to believe her. You want the relationship to be okay. But if confrontation revealed evasion, inconsistency, and manipulation, rather than honest explanation, you know the truth even without confession. Staying with someone you know is lying to you is choosing continued deception. Evidence and behavior tell the truth when words don't. If confrontation revealed problems beyond cheating, like disrespect, boundary violations, or fundamental incompatibility, decide if those issues are fixable. Sometimes investigating potential cheating reveals the relationship has deeper problems. Maybe she's not cheating, but she's not committed. Maybe she's not physically unfaithful, but she's emotionally invested elsewhere. Maybe the relationship has deteriorated beyond repair. These discoveries matter, even if they're not about cheating. Don't make decisions based on her emotional reaction to potential breakup. Cheaters often become most devoted and loving when faced with consequences. She might promise anything, cry desperately, or suddenly transform into perfect partner. This is panic at losing control, not genuine change. Genuine change takes time, therapy, and consistent behavioral adjustment, not overnight transformation, because you're threatening to leave. Don't mistake fear of consequences for actual remorse or change. Consider whether staying serves your dignity and mental health. Even if you technically can forgive cheating, should you? Are you staying because you genuinely believe relationship can be better than it was, Or are you staying because you're afraid of being alone? Are you staying because she's shown she deserves another chance, or because she's manipulated you through guilt and promises? Your decision should be based on what serves your well-being, not on what keeps the relationship alive regardless of cost. Give yourself time to make decision if you need it. You don't have to decide immediately to stay or leave. You can take space to process what you learned and decide clearly rather than reactively. Tell her you need time to decide what you want. During this time, maintain distance so you can think without her continuing to manipulate. Talk to people you trust. Process your emotions. Make decision when you're clear, not when you're overwhelmed. If you decide to leave, execute that decision firmly. Don't get drawn into negotiation or last-minute promises. Don't agree to one more chance that becomes endless chances. If evidence showed cheating or behavior you can't accept, and you've decided that's deal breaker, follow through. Leaving is hard, but staying in relationship that's broken is harder. Respect yourself enough to hold to boundaries you established. If you decide to stay and work through it, establish clear conditions. She must end affair immediately and verifiably. She must be completely transparent about where she is, who she's with, and what she's doing. She must attend individual and couples therapy. She must understand that any further deception is automatic end. Don't just return to relationship as it was. Staying must come with accountability and genuine repair work, or you're just setting yourself up for repeat betrayal. What this step accomplishes final decision based on reality rather than hope or fear. You're either leaving relationship that can't be salvaged, or you're staying with clear conditions for repair. You're no longer in limbo of suspicion or in chaos of discovery. You've made informed decision about your future based on evidence, your values, and your boundaries. You've taken control back and chosen path forward that serves your interests.